This is Hurr and Durr, and I'm doing a beginner's guide to scrolls. I'll be using the growth pre-constructed deck and talking through my decisions and why I do things I do. Okay, so middle rows have now been secured by energy with the cheap structure. Okay, with this hand again, him isn't a great spell early on. In fact, it's not a great spell period really. So I'm just going to generate that straight into growth. Energy hasn't got anything that's able to attack the turn it's played, so I'm just going to drop a Ragged Wolf here and smash into the structure and pass the turn. The one thing energy does lack is the ability to remove enchantments. So cards like Bare Paw, although it increases the countdown by 1, once the creature attacks it's back online and a lot more powerful and a lot harder to deal with, so we're going to cast that on it. And obviously we've got these 3 structure cards here. The Ancestral Totem's okay, it's not great. The +1 attack is a bit negligible as the structure itself is dropped really quite easily. But depending on what we get next turn, I may or may not use that over one of the Junkyard Scrolls. Okay, so we've got another Bare Paw enchantment here. So what I'm going to do is sacrifice the Ancestral Totem, so we generate 1. We've then got a structure down. We've still got 2 growth left, so I can buff the wolf again, creating a 5/6. What we're going to use the other junkyard in our hand for is either going to be another cheap blocker to keep our wolf alive, or generate it into resources. Okay, so what we're going to do here is just going to hold back and keep that junkyard in our hand, and I'll generate the rally into growth. Okay, with this hand here, we can get 2 wolves attacking this turn, which would be good. The structure itself hasn't got a great deal of use, because next turn only this creature is attacking, so it's unlikely that this structure will be destroyed. So what I'll do is sacrifice this junkyard for more cards. I'll drop a wolf here. He'll attack this turn as he has haste, so we'll get a bit of damage into the gun automaton. The Druidic Burial Ground isn't a bad structure, so we may end up using that next turn, but for now we're going to drop a Sister of the Fox on another row and draw a scroll. This is now comboed into Eye of the Eagle, which costs 1, so we may as well use it and use our last resource, leaving 4 free for the next turn. What we've drawn into here is a Great Wolf. It benefits from every other wolf on the field and is the single best powerhouse card in the growth pre-constructed deck. If you can get a Great Wolf down and provide it with buffs, generally you're going to win the game. Something to watch out for are creatures with 1 cooldown. The Destroyer is going to attack us every turn and is a real problem, so we have to try and deal with that quickly. However, it's got a set attack range. When you hover over it, it shows you the squares that it will attack every turn, so we can just try and avoid it for now, which is the best course of action. We'll drop the Druidic Burial Ground here. This will heal our wolf in the front row and provide a decent structure. That's something machine priests can do, move a structure in a random direction. The random direction it moved in was, well, quite in Grump's favour there. This Hellspitter mortar can often be ignored, but it will do 5 damage randomly across the board. Okay, what we're going to do here is move our units around so we can try and get some protection down. And we're now going to get our Great Wolf down. Great Wolves have an ability called Relentless. What this does is, if you notice, whenever a creature attacks another creature, they will stop once they've killed it or done their damage to it. With Relentless, if there's any damage left over after killing the creature, it will carry on munching through. Okay, so right now we're needing to try and get some protection down for that Great Wolf. So what we'll do is move it down here behind the Druidic structure. We need to cast something this turn, so we'll sacrifice Crimson Bull and draw some more cards. We've now drawn into an exceptionally dangerous card with growth that works well with the Great Wolf, the Mangy Wolf. When this enters play, the Great Wolf not only gets +1 attack, but his cooldown set to 0, so he can smash into the Hellspitter mortar. Whilst it is random, it does deal 5 damage, so whatever it hits does tend to die from the Hellspitter mortar. We want to try and cast both these cards this turn, so we'll sacrifice Eye of the Eagle into growth. We'll drop a Brother of the Wolf up here. The Brother of the Wolf is quite fat in himself, but generally if you've got a Great Wolf on the field, you're just going to want to use his ability when he can attack, which generates another Ragged Wolf. This Champion Ring gives 2 attack, so we'll put that onto the Great Wolf. At the moment, as we're playing against energy, the Great Wolf is floating around 2 health, which can easily be taken out by one of the growth spells. Energy spells even. Such as Ember Bonds. When the Great Wolf now attacks, it will receive 2 damage. Unfortunately, Ember Bonds tends to spell the death of a Great Wolf. King Volt Veteran, this guy is amazing. We're just going to drop him and smash straight through mid-row. He's got 4 health, so provides some decent defense as well, and he has haste. So now every creature on this row is attacking, including our Great Wolf. Except the Great Wolf had Ember Bonds, so he dies, which I forgot about. Ranger's Bane at the moment doesn't really help us. It poisons a creature for 3 damage. But this creature up here, the gun automaton, will die anyway. We won't generate a wolf with the brother of the wolf, we'll just let him attack this turn. So we'll sacrifice this for more cards. We've now got a champion ring, so what we'll do, move the mangy wolf forward, give him a champion ring, and Dryadic power we don't need in this situation, so we'll hold on to it to sacrifice the next turn for more cards rather than cast it. The reason for that is we don't know what we're going to draw into. It may be better than Dryadic power and we don't want to sacrifice it. Again, Ember Bonds, whenever this creature now attacks they will take 2 damage. Nutrition. I never really use this spell. It's not great at all, so what we'll do, we'll sacrifice that for more cards. Again, these cards aren't great, so what we're going to do, drop the Dryadic power on the mangy wolf, so we'll get at least 2 5 strength attacks out of it. And the vitality well is not something you want to be using to block, so what we'll do, we'll tuck this away in a corner, and what it does, every time the cooldown reaches 0 it heals all the units on the field. The Ranger's Bane we're just going to sit back and hold on to until there's something we need to remove, as this creature here doesn't really do anything apart from heal structures and move them about randomly. Okay, so the Ranger's Bane is now useful. We can get rid of this Scattergunner quite quickly. The Brother of the Wolf, we're going to summon a Ragged Wolf there, which then attacks this turret. Although it's weaker, it's another unit on the field. So if we can keep this guy tucked away in a corner, continuously producing wolves, it works in our favour. The Kingfolk Veteran in my hand we're just going to hold on to until next turn. Although we're not sacrificing any cards to generate resources or draw more cards, this guy's worth holding on to. He's a powerhouse. As you can see, this guy that we put the poison on loses 1 health each turn, so next turn when he's able to attack he'll die. Although small, you do need to be aware of Gravelock Raiders, as they have Relentless and will cut through your stuff should they get buffed. Sorry about that, we'll continue. The Kingfolk Jarl in my hand, what I'm going to do with him is he's 7 cost, he's not that great, so we're going to generate some more cards with him. Okay, so Rallying Cry will be used next turn. This turn what we'll do is the Great Wolf here, the Mangy Wolf, sorry. Carrying on. Right, so as I was saying, rallying here, we'll use that the next turn. This turn we'll drop the Kingfolk Berserker, and we'll drop this at the top here. So we'll start working on another lane. Because this guy's already dead, the Scattergunner, the Mangy Wolf will destroy the Catapult of Goo. I'll end my turn now, but I'll just put Vitriol Aura which is this card, onto the mangy wolf, which whenever it's attacked, it deals 1 poison damage to its attacker. Okay, so again, we'll sacrifice nutrition for cards because it's really not that great. Okay, and we're going to use Rally this turn. If you notice, all these creatures aren't attacking at the moment. When we use Rally, their cooldown gets reset to 0. So we'll move this guy down onto this row, and this wolf down onto this row. So there's 6 total there, which will nearly destroy the middle idol, but not quite. The 2 cards in our hand, obviously we know King Vault Veterans, attack the turn they come in, really quite big beefy cards. We've also got a King Folk Brave. These guys attack every turn, but we'll drop him the next turn. Trading a 5 attack wolf for the 2 and 1 attack goblin isn't really worth it. This guy's only got 1 attack left in him anyway due to the Ember Bonds, so what we'll do, we'll smash onto a turret with him. Can't seem to move him. There must be a reason. Dryadic Power, which I put on him, stops him being moved. So that's the real downside of Dryadic Power, which is why I hate using it. So unfortunately we can't move him, but we will get rid of the Gravelock Raider. And that's the idol gone on that row. Okay, so Vitriol at the moment is useless, so we'll sacrifice this and draw more cards. When you get to about 6 growth, you kind of want to sit it around this level. Okay, what's key here is we need to bash through mid, as this has the most defences. So what we'll do, we'll move the Brother of the Wolf down, and this rangy wolf to attack the next turn. With the 6 remaining growth we have, we'll drop a King Folk Brave up here. This guy's going to attack every turn and will keep pressure on the top lane, which we need. With the other 4 remaining, we'll save Junkyard for the next turn to be sacrificed for more cards, as King Vault Veteran can't be cast this turn but is exceptionally powerful. Sister of the Fox we can drop, and we may draw into another useful card for ourselves. Frostbeard's pretty good, but we can't drop him this turn, so we'll pass it. With the burn spell, Grumps dealt 3 damage to my King Folk at top, killing it outright, and because it died, she's drawn a scroll because of it. This hymn, while usually useless, we can now cast it onto our mangy wolf, which is getting dealt 2 damage every time it attacks, so we can get a bit more lasting out of it. The Junkyard we don't need right now. We're on the attack, we don't need to defend, we've got to keep the pressure on, so at the moment this card's useless, so we'll sacrifice it for more cards. Enchanter's Bane at the moment isn't great, as this creature's going to die this turn anyway. So what we'll do, and this structure here will die in 2 turns time, so we'll use that for sacrifice fuel the next turn. Frostbeard, he's slow, but he's got 6 attack and 1 health, So ideally you want to be placing him along the back row here, so that you can use the units in front of him to clear the way so he's got a better shot at the idols. And with that we'll just pass the turn, as we can't really cast anything else and there's no good targets for Ranger's Bane just yet. Okay, so again, Ancestral Totem, it's a structure, we don't need that at the moment, we're on the attack, so I'll sacrifice that for more cards. Okay, right. What we're going to do is move this Kingfolk Brave forward, he'll take out the structure, we'll then put this Kingfolk Veteran in here, so we can get rid of the Gravelock Outcast, which is blocking our way next turn. Again, there's not a great deal of point in dropping the Junkyard just yet, we're not under any pressure, so we don't need to drop it. So we'll leave that in our hand for Sacrifice Fuel the next turn. Okay, so by playing Fury, Grumps decreased everything's cooldown by 1, including my creatures, so now I get to attack this turn and retaliate. I'm going to sacrifice that Junkyard for more cards. We're going to put Bear Paw onto our Kingfolk Brave. The Kingfolk Brave with Bear Paw is exceptionally powerful. Every turn it's going to be attacking for 4 attack and it's going to have 4 health, so it's going to be reasonably difficult to remove. To get the most from our attack on the middle row, we're going to want to move the Kingfolk Veteran forward so he does enough damage to kill the Gravelock Raider there. We'll then move the Sister of the Fox in behind so that she can get 1 damage in on the idol, and our Brother of the Wolf will deal 3, putting the middle idol to 1. We'll drop this Vitality Well down here in the corner. It heals all of our troops every 3 turns for 1 health, which isn't bad, but not great. Again, Ranger's Bane, Nutrition, we'll sacrifice Nutrition the next turn. There's nothing worthwhile casting Ranger's Bane on at the moment, so we'll hold on to those if the situation needs them. Okay, so this Cannon Automaton is now going to be a problem, so we need to get rid of it. Something that you may or may not know is with Ranger's Bane, we can stack it. So Ranger's Bane deals 1 poison every turn for 3 turns. So if we stack it, it deals 2 poison every damage for 3 turns. So if we ignore this Cannon Automaton, it will be dead in 3 turns regardless of what we do now. The Kingfolk Jarl here will sacrifice for cards again. I know there's a Nutrition spell, we'll sacrifice that instead, so we'll get rid of that. We'll start moving these creatures down, so we'll move Frostbeard down the row, we'll leave our Kingfolk Brave at top to smash the idol. We'll hold on to Crimson Bull until we need it, because every attacking unit gets +2 attack, which can be game breaking and win you games. Eye of the Eagle, cost 1, draws as a creature, so we'll play that now. And we get ourselves a Ragged Wolf. So what we'll do with this ragged wolf is drop it onto the middle row and start applying pressure to this idol here. As you can see, the Ganon Automaton has taken 2 damage and is now at 4. Our opponent realises that we can attack both these rows, so is now having to defend it with the Catapult of Goo. Okay, so all of this is now attacking. So what we're going to do is try and push through onto middle, as we only have to deal 1 damage here. So the only thing blocking it is a Cannon Automaton. We need to remove this. We can get the most damage out of our hand by doing this. We sacrifice the Jarl there for growth, so we're at 7. We'll move the Sister of the Fox down, creating a space, dropping a King Folk Brave, which will attack this turn. We then use Crimson Bull. So not only is he attacking this turn, but he gets +2 attack, putting 15 damage total on the middle row and winning us the game. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial video. I can only apologise for the phone that rang in between.